looks like NASCAR is in fact going to change the qualifying procedure going forward this season. Let's talk about that and a whole lot more on today's episode. I also have some fan mail to open at the end of this episode. I went to my mailbox the other day and there were some treasures in there. I can't wait to show them to you guys. Some of you guys went above and beyond sending me these things, so stay tuned towards the end of this video. I'll be opening up some mail, and there's some pretty exciting things in these boxes I have over here. I've already taken a peek. How's it going, you guys? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. I want to thank Ridge Wallet again for sponsoring this show. I've already talked about their super sleek wallet with this super innovative design. It's thin, it's sleek, it's cool looking, it fits in your pocket easily. It comes in aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, polycarbonate, and it comes in more than 12 different styles, so check it out. They don't just make wallets though. If you watched my recent video where I went to a World of Outlaws race, you'll see they also make backpacks. So yeah, huge shout out to them for sending me this. I already made pretty good use out of it. They have a very special offer for fans of the show. You can go to ridgewallet.com/groovy. That's ridgewallet.com/groovy to get 10% off your order with free shipping. Another huge thank you to Ridge Wallet for coming on to sponsor the show. Really helps me keep bringing the world of NASCAR to you guys via the internet. So thank you, Ridge Wallet, and yeah, go check them out to get 10% off your order. Promo code GROOVY. Before we get to the big report that I want to spend most of this episode talking about, let's start with something kind of cool, something kind of fun, something that you might have seen in the news yesterday. 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmie Johnson ran in the Boston Marathon yesterday. He completed the race with an official time of 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 7 seconds, which was very impressive. I'm not really in like marathon running circles, but from what I've seen, people were very impressed with Jimmie Johnson. And it was also very cool to see just throughout, the NASCAR and really just the sports world in general, not just race car drivers, but other athletes across all sorts of sports, showed their support for Jimmie Johnson on social media. So that was really neat to see. Gatorade obviously partnered with him to help make this possible. It was cool they had a bunch of Jimmie Johnson fans, 48 fans, courtesy of Ally, there at I think the 17th mile mark to support Jimmie Johnson. So that was really cool. Great publicity for him, a great moment for him obviously, and also a good moment for the sport and really for fans of all sorts of race car drivers and athletes. It was a cool moment. He also beat Michael Waltrip's Boston Marathon time. Back in the year 2000, Michael Waltrip ran a 4 hour and 42-minute marathon. So Jimmie beat him by an hour and a half or more. Sorry, Michael Waltrip fans, but Jimmie wins this round. Now let's talk about the big story. This news kind of broke last night. Now it's worth mentioning that none of this has been confirmed 100% by anybody at NASCAR. This is just a rumor, but it's from the Door Bumper Clear podcast, which is a part of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s media network. It's a podcast featuring well-known spotters, Brett Griffin, TJ Majors, and others, and they were talking about the high likelihood that NASCAR is going to change the qualifying format going forward starting at this next race at Talladega. Now granted, it is just a rumor, but the Door Bumper Clear podcast, those guys are right there in the industry. They're talking to drivers, they're talking to team owners, they're talking to media members, they're talking to people at NASCAR every single week. They're as well connected as it gets, and they've been ahead of other rumors in the past, so I'm gonna tend to believe this. I think this is happening. But in their podcast yesterday, they talked about how NASCAR is reportedly going to switch qualifying back to single car qualifying at every track this season except the road courses, which means starting with Talladega in a couple weeks and then going to Dover and Kansas or however the schedule goes, every single race except the road courses, we will have single car qualifying instead of the group qualifying that we've kind of become accustomed to the last few years. Here's some of the actual sound bites from the podcast. You can hear them talking about it, and it sounds like they're pretty sure. They think this is pretty much a sure thing.
Topic everybody's been talking about. Rumor that qualifying will become single car everywhere except for road courses. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
Spot on.
When's the single car gonna start?
Talladega. Well, yeah.
Well,
they will definitely start Talladega. I guess they obviously haven't announced anything. The rumor is we keep hearing is they're going to go everywhere. So I'd imagine Dover's after Talladega or Kansas. Yeah, Dover. So we'll see if they go there for Dover.
So now, assuming these rumors are true, and from the sounds of it, I think they are. We'll probably know within the next week whether or not they actually are true. But assuming they're true, in my opinion, this is really the only choice NASCAR has. NASCAR tried to make group qualifying work, and honestly for the last several years I think it's been a success. I think qualifying has been more entertaining. The best drivers, best cars still are able to get the best qualifying position, so it doesn't hurt the competition side of things, and it's more entertaining for the fans. I think group qualifying up until 2019 has actually been a success. We've heard people at NASCAR say recently that qualifying is a ratings winner for them, so that kind of backs me up there. It's entertaining, it helps the sport. Unfortunately, in 2019, with this high downforce, low horsepower aero package, with drafting coming into play at intermediate tracks, group qualifying was never going to work. They should have known this at the beginning. They should have been more proactive when it came to this, but unfortunately they have to kind of scramble here as the season has already started. But yeah, with this current aero package, group qualifying, especially at the bigger tracks, was never going to work. Sure, watching them scramble off pit road is kind of entertaining, but it's definitely not the best way to do qualifying. I'll be the first to admit it. And I liked group qualifying before 2019. So here's the thing, by switching back to single car runs, from a competitive standpoint, I think this is the best possible decision NASCAR could make. Because now if we look at this from a competitive standpoint, every single car in the 40 car field gets to make a clean lap. It's all fair, it's all equal, where they don't have to worry about games being played on pit road or weird drafting or hitting weird pockets of air. They can just run a simple lap. And because cars will be going out one at a time, theoretically this should also allow some of the smaller teams to get a little bit more screen time. Now, in the past, single car qualifying, NBC or Fox would often cut to commercials during some of the smaller teams qualifying runs. I still think they'll do the same thing here, so I don't think every small team's going to get more screen time and exposure for their sponsors. But I think in the end, more teams will get a chance to be on camera, because during group qualifying, when you have 10 cars on track at the same time, Fox, NBC, they can't switch to they're not going to get every single car in the shot. So from those two standpoints, from a competitive standpoint, for the race teams and everything, it makes a lot of sense. So that's why single car qualifying is good, and that's probably the number two reasons why NASCAR has made this decision, it seems. But now I will address the other side, because I think they do have some merit here. From an entertainment standpoint, this probably isn't the best move. Years ago, before they brought group qualifying into the Cup Series, I didn't mind single car runs. I actually thought single car qualifying could be entertaining. I liked watching the little tracker on the side show, if a driver's got like an 8th place lap and then, he's getting better at tracking up to 5th, 6th, whatever it is, and then falls back, all that type of stuff. That was very interesting. I enjoyed watching single car qualifying back in the day. And at short tracks and stuff, I think that entertainment's still going to be there. The hardcore NASCAR fans are going to still enjoy watching qualifying, because they're going to like to see how drivers stack up with each other, and since there's still going to be a lot of driver input at the short tracks, we'll see the better drivers, wheel their cars the best, and we'll see the worst drivers possibly, get loose and hurt their lap. So short tracks, single car qualifying will still be pretty entertaining. It'll be probably as entertaining as it's ever been. But at the intermediate tracks, however, with this 2019 package, single car qualifying is going to be about as boring as it's ever been outside of super speedway tracks. Drivers are going to be flat out pretty much at most of these tracks for the full lap or two that they run. Handling will come into play, but like in years past where we'd see a driver like drive it in hard and give up some on exit versus maybe drive it in easy and then gain on exit, we're not going to see that. It's going to look like Daytona or Talladega single car qualifying. And in my opinion, Daytona and Talladega qualifying is the most boring and unwatchable form of qualifying NASCAR has. So now the problem is when we go to Texas, when we go to Charlotte, when we go to Kansas, qualifying is going to be pretty darn boring. I'll be the first to say it. It's not that exciting for me, at least, to see these drivers just running flat out, turning left. This aero package in race situations, we've already seen, can present pretty good racing, where handling comes into play, where driver skill still comes into play. Texas was way better this year than it has been the last 2 years, and it was mainly due to this aero package. But for qualifying's sake, this package is not entertaining at mile and a halves, and making them single car is only going to highlight that even more. Now, of course, the argument is that, qualifying's not really supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to set the lineup for Sunday, and that's a fair argument, I guess, but if you're going to televise it, if you're going to put it on national TV, it needs to be entertaining. If I'm flipping through the channels Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon, whatever it is, and I see, NASCAR qualifying, and I see this type of single car qualifying at Texas or at Kansas, I'm not going to stay on the channel. And the advertisers that paid for those spots during qualifying aren't going to be happy, because they're probably not going to be getting their money's worth. If you're going to put something on TV, it's got to be entertaining. And I think to the hardcore fans, this will still be relatively entertaining. I think the short tracks especially will still be entertaining. Single car runs will still be entertaining. I'm just worried that at the intermediate tracks, single car qualifying is just going to be virtually unwatchable. Qualifying is not the big draw of the weekend. Not everybody's sitting down watching qualifying. I understand that. But I don't know. You hate to make the sport more boring, if you don't have to. But in this case, I guess NASCAR kind of had to, because group qualifying really wasn't a good format with this aero package. So ultimately, I don't have a problem with this decision. I think this is the best decision NASCAR has in this case. I don't think they had any perfect decision here, but I think single car qualifying, going back to, is probably the best decision. I personally was hoping they could maybe work something out where they could do heat races, but I knew that was unrealistic. So single car qualifying it is, and it sounds like that's how it's going to be the rest of this year. Remember, only at the ovals. Road courses, it sounds like they're still going to do group qualifying. So group qualifying is not going to be entirely gone, guys. Now, again, this is still a rumor, but even on the Door Bumper Clear podcast, they didn't give any more details. Is this also going to go to the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series? Are they still going to do group qualifying? That's still very unclear. We also don't know, are they still going to do rounds, like single car runs, but where like the top 12 move on and then do more laps? Like, we still don't know how that's going to work. Is knockout round qualifying going to stick around? Is this going to go to Trucks and Xfinity as well? We don't know all those details. We'll have to wait for the next week or two and see what NASCAR says, but sounds like this rumor is pretty legitimate. Single car qualifying is back for the Cup Series. Now real quick, let's open up some fan mail. Like I said at the beginning, you guys sent me some incredible things. I've taken a peek at a couple of these, and I can't wait to show them to you guys. I got the best fans. Out of the Groove is the best fans. The Groovy Gang, you guys out there, the Groovy Gang members, best in the business. Thank you guys. So let's check some of this stuff out. First box I have here is from George in Ohio. I took a peek at this, and I'm excited. Get it out of this first box here. Oh my gosh, now I gotta get out of this yellow box. Would you look at that? I believe it's a 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this is his 2008 Car of Tomorrow DeWalt Ford Fusion, Matt Kenseth. This is incredible. George, you really went above and beyond. I don't actually have a 124 scale car with the big wing, so this is a first for me, seeing this thing in all of its large glory. Yeah, look at that thing. Technically, this is his 2008 car, but it's very similar. The paint scheme, at least, is very, very similar, if not identical to the car he won the Daytona 500 in 2009. So, in my head, I'm going to treat this as a 2009 Daytona 500 race win. But yeah, thank you so much, George from Ohio, for sending me this. This is going on my shelf somewhere. Got another big package here in a minute, but first some envelopes you guys sent me. From Jackson in Round Rock, that's not too far away from me. He sent me a letter. Hi Eric, I've been a fan of your show since 2017 and I would like to give you this comic and a NASCAR card I have. Thank you for entertaining people like me, from Jackson. And on the back of it here, he drew this little thing. Matt Kenseth, 2003 champion. Really cool, very sweet of you, Jackson, thank you. And he also sent me this 2012 Matt Kenseth card. Really neat. I appreciate that a ton, man. Another note here from Wyatt in Pennsylvania. It looks like he drew me something. Oh, this is sweet. I turned off the big lights. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Groovy Gang assemble. That's very sweet of you, Wyatt. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Got some very nice fans out there. You guys are the best. Okay, we have one more package that I'm excited to look at. Will from Maryland DM'd me on Twitter saying he was going to send me this thing, and I gotta say I'm excited to look inside this box. Let's pop this open and you can tell this is a race win diecast because they got some confetti in a little bag. I love little bags of confetti. Oh boy, you guys know what I like. This is one I've wanted to add to my collection literally for almost 6 years now. Matt Kenseth's 500th career start race win diecast from New Hampshire. Won this race back in 2013, second race of the playoffs that year, part of, the 7-win season that was magical. Oh my goodness. Look at this thing. Home Depot Husky, they allowed him to run a special paint scheme that, celebrated Matt Kenseth's 500th start, and he won. You can even see on the hood there where the lobster was, where they put the lobster. This is incredible. Ever since this race happened, I remember watching this race and immediately thinking, I gotta get that die cast. And then for whatever reason, mainly because I didn't have, 70, 80 bucks to drop on it, I never did. But thank you to Will from Pennsylvania for sending me this and basically adding a centerpiece to my NASCAR diecast collection. This is amazing. I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you for sending me this. I might go to sleep with this thing at night. I might just tuck it in bed next to me. I'm not even joking. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. I really do have the best YouTube audience in the world. Thank you all so much for your continued support. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. My jaw is hitting the floor. I can't even put thoughts to words to sentences. I can't talk. I'm just blown away. Thank you guys. I've done this YouTube thing for closing in on 8 years technically, and I've really taken it seriously for about 7 years now, and it's been a long, crazy journey. The fact that we're getting close to 100,000 subscribers, the fact that I got people like you guys all across the country sending me merchandise from my favorite driver, commenting on every single video, supporting me on live streams. I can't thank you guys enough. This is a journey I never really thought would make it this far. I never thought I'd get this far, and it just continues to get better and better, and it's because of you guys. So sorry, I'll stop being all mushy here and do the outro because I don't know. I'm at a loss. I have nothing else to say. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Continue the conversation over there. You can get yourself an Out of the Groove t-shirt down by the description if you want to support the show. Also, big thank you, of course, to my amazing Patreon supporters. Michael Harrison, at Gwas of the Stars, SelfishGifts.com, Mentally Defective, Cameron James, John Koblenz, Tim Shingen, Jason R. Long, Wesley Donaldson, Isaac Dennison, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, Ross Corlett, and the rest of these amazing Patreon supporters. It's because of you guys I'm able to do awesome things like go see a World of Outlaws race and document it and share it with you guys on YouTube here. And I don't know, I can't thank you guys for the support enough. It really means a lot to me that y'all would support me in this way, and that so many people appreciate or at least enjoy the stuff I'm creating over here. So thank you so much. Thank you all so much for watching. This really turned into kind of a heartfelt episode. Didn't really intend on that. I was really just planning to talk about qualifying for a little while here, but here we are. Thank you all so much. I got more videos coming out later this week. I appreciate the support, and I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys again very, very soon.